Nobody respects you. Look at her, standing there like a brainwashed grunt while the rest of us actually achieved high society. You couldn't even afford a basic designer suit for my celebratory dinner. My older brother's high-pitched mocking laughter echoed through the private dining room of the luxury country club. The upscale music stopped instantly. 39 relatives, including aunts, uncles, cousins, and prominent family friends, froze, turning their heads to stare directly at me. My brother, Austin Vance, stood near the head of the long mahogany table holding a crystal glass of expensive scotch. Beside him stood our mother, fully nodding along with an arrogant, self-righteous smirk. I stood near the entrance, wearing my crisp, immaculate Army Black Hawk Pilot uniform. I had literally just stepped off a military transport flight from a brutal 10-month deployment overseas where I flew casualty evacuation missions. I hadn't even had time to go home. "Austin, stop," I said, my voice tight, as 39 pairs of eyes judged me. I came straight from the airbase because Mom told me it was a mandatory family emergency. "Yeah, an emergency to see what real success looks like," Austin shouted into the room, making sure everyone heard him. "While you were playing pilot in the mud, my logistics firm secured a multi-million-dollar tech contract. You're just a low-class embarrassment to our family name, Vanessa. Take your cheap boots and get out of my dinner before you ruin our stack." Shocked whispers broke out across the room instantly. Did he really blast his own sister in uniform? Well, Austin is a millionaire now. I guess he doesn't want a basic pilot ruining his image. How humiliating for the mother. My mother stepped forward, waving her hand dismissively. "Do what your brother says, Vanessa. You're an eyesore. Go back to your barracks." A wave of suffocating emotional pain hit my chest. My hands began to shake. I was an active-duty Army Chief Warrant Officer, a decorated pilot who had survived anti-aircraft fire. The disrespect was a physical blade twisting in my heart. I turned on my heel and walked out into the cold night air, the heavy glass doors shutting behind me. But my toxic family wasn't done. The moment I reached the parking lot, my phone vibrated violently. It was a text from Austin. "By the way, failure, Mom just signed over the legal title of grandfather's private mountain estate entirely to my name. Your inheritance is officially gone. Don't even try going back to the estate tonight. The security codes have been wiped. Your stuff is on the curb." My jaw dropped. Before I could even type a response, a second emergency notification flashed on my screen from my military credit union. Alert: high priority defense credit line frozen. Joint authorized user Evelyn Vance has withdrawn $120,000 for corporate expansion fees. My mother had just completely drained my active deployment savings account, the money I earned risking my life flying through combat zones. They were destroying my entire existence in real time. They thought I was an easy target. They honestly believed I was just a low-level chauffeur because I never bragged about my missions, but their arrogance was a fatal mistake. They called me a low-class embarrassment. They thought Austin's logistics firm was a self-made empire. They had absolutely no clue that the only reason Austin wasn't sitting in a federal prison cell was because of the very sister they just threw out. 1 year ago, Austin had illegally intercepted government supply manifests and breached massive federal transportation laws. His company was facing immediate liquidation and a massive federal lawsuit. My mother had called me, crying hysterically into the phone. "Vanessa, please, if Austin gets arrested, our family status is ruined. You have that deep military trust from your grandfather. You have to save your brother." Because I loved them, and because I valued family honor, I intervened. I didn't just give them a loan. I used my specialized aviation bonuses, my grandfather's military legacy fund, and my status as an officer to privately buy out the toxic debts through a secure defense holding company. I became the secret 100% owner of Austin's firm, hiding my identity behind an anonymous military LLC to protect his fragile ego. My mother knew every single detail, but she begged me to keep it a secret so Austin wouldn't lose his confidence. And this was my reward. They stole my inheritance, drained my bank account, and mocked my service in front of 39 people. Suddenly, my phone buzzed again. It was a link sent by a fellow pilot. My mother had just posted a public status online. Tonight, my bitter daughter Vanessa tried to ruin her brother Austin's celebration dinner out of pure jealousy. She showed up in uniform just to demand money. We have officially disowned her. Beware of this fraud. The local community was already commenting, destroying my career reputation. In that exact split second, my heartbreak inside me died. It was replaced by a cold, lethal, razor-sharp military focus. They wanted to wage a war against an army aviator. They just cleared a path for a tactical strike. I looked up toward the edge of the club driveway. Sitting quietly under the dim lights was a heavy, armored black government vehicle with tinted windows. The engine was purring. I noticed a rigid, sharp-looking driver watching me from the front seat, speaking into a secure radio. Someone incredibly high-level had been monitoring my arrival tonight. I didn't know who sent them yet, but it was time to activate my counter-strategy. I dialed my military legal advocate. Marcus, they just forged the estate titles, drained the defense line, and launched a public smear campaign. Executed the immediate asset forfeiture. Liquidate the firm. Now. With pleasure, Chief, Marcus replied coldly. We are already moving. 10 minutes later, I slammed the heavy double doors of the private dining room wide open. I marched down the center aisle, my posture perfectly straight, my eyes locked onto the table. The moment Austin saw me, he groaned loudly. Are you kidding me? The grunt is back. Someone call security and drag this psychopath out of here. My mother rushed forward, her face twisted in pure rage. You ungrateful girl! I told you to leave. The police are on their way to arrest you for trespassing. The 39 relatives turned, staring at me with deep disgust, whispering about the fraudulent pilot. I didn't flinch. I'm not leaving, Austin, I said, my voice cutting through the room with absolute, unyielding authority. An alternative route has been mapped. Check your corporate bank accounts, right now. What are you talking about, you pathetic little... Austin started, but suddenly his chief financial officer rushed into the room holding a tablet, his face completely pale and sweating. He whispered frantically into Austin's ear. Austin's smug grin instantly shattered. He dropped his glass and it shattered loudly across the floor. What? No, that's impossible. All our corporate assets are frozen? The company's shares are gone? It's not a mistake, Austin. A loud, thunderous voice roared from the entrance of the room. Everyone spun around. Walking into the dining hall was the towering figure from the black vehicle. He walked with a slight, battle-hardened limp, but his posture was absolute granite. He was wearing an immaculate, crisp army dress uniform, his chest completely covered in rows of legendary combat medals, and prominently pinned to his coat was the gleaming purple heart ribbon. On his shoulders shone the undeniable stars of a high-ranking commander. It was Colonel Vance, a heavily decorated Purple Heart veteran, my grandfather's closest brother, and the primary trustee of our entire family's legacy fund. The 39 relatives instantly gasped. Several business associates in the crowd stood up straight up, their faces turning white with absolute terror. My mother staggered back, trying to force a fake, trembling smile. Uncle, Colonel, sir, what a surprising honor. This is just a minor family misunderstanding. Silence, Evelyn, Colonel Vance barked. The sheer power of his voice made the crystal glasses rattle. The veteran marched right past her, stopped directly in front of me, and brought his hand up to his brow in a flawless, razor-sharp salute. Chief Warrant Officer Vanessa Vance, Colonel Vance announced loudly, ensuring every single person in the room heard every syllable.
On behalf of the United States Army and the Department of Defense, I want to personally congratulate you on your safe return. The medical evacuation missions you flew overseas saved 42 wounded soldiers under direct fire this year. You are a decorated hero, and this command will not allow your honor to be defiled by parasites. The room erupted into a wave of horrified gasps. A combat pilot? She saved 42 wounded soldiers? Oh my God, what did Austin say to her? They completely lied to us. Marcus, my legal advocate, stepped up right behind the colonel, opening a heavy briefcase and tossing a stack of certified federal documents directly onto the table in front of Austin's main corporate partners. Austin Vance, 1 year ago, your logistics firm was bankrupt due to your own illegal fraud. The entity that saved you, Vanguard Defense Logistics LLC, is entirely owned and funded by Chief Warrant Officer Vanessa Vance's military salary. Because you and your mother committed grand larceny tonight by illegally transferring deeds and draining a protected defense credit line, your contract is permanently terminated. Marcus turned to the relatives and partners. As of 10 minutes ago, the firm is fully liquidated, and Austin Vance is officially disqualified from corporate operations due to active federal theft investigations. No, no, Mom, do something! Austin screamed, collapsing onto the floor, clutching his head as his entire fake lifestyle, career, and future turned to ash in front of the family's elite. My mother dropped to her knees, crying hysterically, reaching out toward me. Vanessa, sweetie, please, we are your family. Your brother will go to jail. We will lose everything. Please tell them it's a mistake. I walked up to the edge of the table, looking down at my weeping mother and ruined brother. The agonizing pain that had crushed my heart for years was entirely gone. In its place was a beautiful, unyielding wall of self-respect. You told 39 people nobody respects me, Austin. You told everyone my service was a low-class joke. I looked at my mother, who was trembling on the floor. The truth is, my uniform paid for your freedom, your business, and your status. But tonight, I am taking it all back. You have 24 hours to pack your trash bags and get out of my grandfather's estate. Don't ever call me family again. Austin wept openly into his hands, completely ruined. My mother covered her face in absolute social shame as all 39 relatives began running for the exits, completely abandoning the fraudulent Vance family. Within minutes, the dining room was completely empty. Colonel Vance smiled proudly, lowering his salute. Excellent discipline, Vanessa. Your transport is waiting. Let's get you back to the hangar where true honor is respected. Thank you, sir. I stepped out into the cool night air, leaving the tears and shattered egos behind. I spent my entire life destroying my own boundaries to buy the love of a family that only valued greed and status. But as I watched the flashing lights of the federal vehicles pull into the driveway, I finally understood the ultimate lesson. You can never cure a toxic family with your own sacrifice. True honor means knowing your worth, drawing an unbreakable line, and letting karma handle the rest.